Alright guys, this is just a short video relating to the bits and pieces thrown out there about the EU looking to ban the UK from free travel to Europe from the UK. Um, I'll give you my perspective, which is based on the words rather than the way a lot of people have gone on this. Reality is they're not talking about banning anybody from the EU. What they're saying is if there's a no deal Brexit, there is no EU right of access to Europe. So what you have to then do is go on the non-essential travel list, because bear in mind this isn't a ban because of Brexit, it's to do with COVID. Because I think Spain's only got about 9 countries that are on this non-EU travel list, which include Australia, New Zealand, and a few others. You would basically would have to be agreed before you could automatically just assume you could travel into Europe. But that is called process. It's called bureaucracy. It's called paperwork, and it's called the fact that the UK and the EU have failed to come to a deal that then sets all this other stuff in motion. But bear in mind, it's also part of coming out the EU. Coming out the EU doesn't automatically give you rights in the sense that the whole point of good old Boris, Gove, and all that, they're going, it's a no deal Brexit type thing. They've been on about it since day one. I don't think I had any intentions of coming to a decent end. It's just going to end up at a complete crash out of the EU, in my personal opinion. So it's all like going, well, the EU are telling us this, EU, and that's the sort of ranting I'm saying. That's incorrect. Read the information. The fact is, if you're not in the EU, you come under the same requests as New Zealand, Australia, and every other country on the planet that goes to EU countries. You have to adhere to their rules. You don't get to have your cake and eat it. You've left the EU. You're not part of the EU. You haven't made the decisions in these meetings that automatically give you access to the EU. This is what happens when a no-deal Brexit occurs, in the sense of you're now getting into the realms where discussions about trade, freedom of movement. Bear in mind, UK is very anti-freedom of movement anyway, in many instances. I'm not saying everybody, because this is the thing with Brexit. It was nearly 50-50. But the point being is, it's not so cut and dry. This is part of that. An agreement's got to be made. But instead of people getting all peacock feathers and being anti-EU, they need to recognise if there's a no deal done and we are out of the EU, you can automatically assume you have the same rights as everybody that's still in the EU. Because that's the part of the deals that are now failing. Because that's what they're supposed to sort out. That's actually a failure on the government. That's a failure on the decision makers, the best of the best, these bureaucratic deal makers or breakers. It's not my fault you picked Boris and Gove. They're not people I would have sent to the meetings myself. I'd have maybe stuck a couple of lawyers on it, or people that actually understand legislation and other bits and pieces. I don't think it's so cut and dry. And when you read the information, I'll just go over an article in the explanation from this article, because they opened up the same way. So this is on Politico. Brits face EU travel ban on January 1st under COVID rules. I'm sure, I would hazard a guess that's not the lead headline on a lot of the tabloids. It will be punished under Brexit or whatever. But the fact is, there is only 9 countries that are exempt for a non-essential travel. So you bear in mind, this is to do with COVID. It's not even blocking you going to Spain because you're going there for business. It's blocking you because if you've got non-essential travel, going on holiday, there's a ban because of COVID. And it's not just the UK. A lot of countries are already in that ban, and they're not sitting whining saying, well, we ain't coming there now. They're going, okay, fair enough. Because they're stuck with it. But instead, we're getting, oh, it's because they don't like us. It's like, read the articles, read the legislation. That is nothing to do with Brexit. The Brexit issue is because we're outside the EU. That's exactly where we're supposed to be. Doesn't automatically say that you can have non-essential travel into the EU that we're no longer part of. All it's saying is basically, well, you're no longer in the EU. You're not part of the Schengen zone. You're an independent. You're a sovereign nation. Blah blah blah. Crack on. And because of the no deal elements, you don't automatically get freedom of movement because we don't want freedom of movement as a UK nation. We keep telling people we don't want people here. Am I right or am I wrong? Because that seems to be a lot of the anti-EU stuff that I see. We don't want these foreigners here. They come and take our jobs and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I wonder how the NHS would do without all the foreign labour. Bear in mind, a lot of it's not even from Europe. But it doesn't stop us needing the doctors, doesn't stop us needing the nurses, the porters, and a lot of the other jobs that we have massive gap shortages in. And guess what? That's the government's failure. If you didn't want them here, guess what? Invest in your own people. Educate them. Make more nurses. Make more doctors. Because if you can't blame somebody else for taking jobs when there's nobody there to fill them. Yeah, so... yeah, I hate this stuff because it's unfair. From January 1st, the UK will be subject to the Council's recommendations on external travel restrictions, a system that only allows non-essential EU travel to a handful of non-EU countries. Yeah, but that doesn't make it a clear enough statement that they're not even mentioning the fact that it's a Brexit issue, but more the fact that they are no longer in the EU. I don't think anything will. And this article, I'll put a link so you can read it yourself. This is from politico.eu. Now, that makes more sense to me than some of the stuff I've been seeing. I've been seeing people rant, well, if you don't want us on holiday, if you don't want this, you don't want it. It's like, read what they're saying. If you're outside the EU, you need to go through the process. You need to come to an agreement. That's what Boris should be doing now. If they haven't got this agreement, guess who's failed on that? It's not the EU. That's Boris. You should already have made this an agreement. Even if they've got problems with fisheries and whatever, they go, right, can we agree that these are sticking points? We'll go over these, but can we at least accept some of these because it's going to impact all of us? But instead, we've got all this peacock feather stuff going on, which is just not helping on any level. Anyway, thanks for watching.